Dear children, this incident dates back to the year 2010. We had planned a family vacation to Kerala, the state known for its long sea coast, backwaters, tea plantation, coconuts, and of course, the literacy rate. The natural beauty of the place was a delight. Greenery was in abundance. Coconuts and bananas grew lavishly. Something that I noticed in particular was the cleanliness of the place. Right from the time I stepped out on the Cochin airport, I did not notice a single place that was littered. Throughout my trip through Trivandrum, Kovalam, Appally, Mannar, and several other places, I was quite impressed to see that whether it be an urban area or the rural parts, there wasn't a trace of garbage anywhere. Being a frequent traveler, I have been to several cities, towns, and even villages across the length and breadth of India. Though the natural beauty of places is often captivating, the untidiness created by my fellow beings often aches my heart. Most of the places have hoardings and placards requesting the visitors to keep the place clean, to use garbage cans, and not to litter the place. Discuss your experience in class. However, to my utter despair, cigarette butts, disposables, empty bottles, packets, and all sorts of other rubbish catch the attention of tourists more than the actual sight. The irony is, while each one of us would complain and begrudge over the place being dirty, most of us simply move on adding an empty packet of chips or an empty cold drink bottle to the heap. It is quite a common human tendency that if we find the place clean, we somehow deter to make it dirty. However, if the place is dirty, we go ahead and make it dirtier. However, the cleanliness of this place was remarkably different. I wondered what made it possible. I too thought, as most of us would think, that probably there would be some very strict punishment associated with littering. Maybe people who make the place dirty were fined heavily. How else could the place remain so speck clean? There was not even a bit of paper littered around. My visit to the Arvikulam National Park of Kovalam gave me the answer I was so desperately seeking. Arvikulam National Park is a 97 square kilometer national park located along the Western Ghats in the Idukki district of Kerala in India. It has the reputation of being one of the cleanest national parks of India. The view of the tea plantation was magnificent indeed. I simply fell in love with nature all over again. The clouds, the mist, the greenery, the freshness, the aroma in the air, which was complemented by the cleanliness of the atmosphere, stole my heart. The slopes were neatly lined by a low-rising wall. As I wandered around, I noticed a guy at the edge of the slope. He was bending steeply towards the slope and seemed to fetching something. My curiosity drew me close to him, and I too leaned forward to find out what he was trying to do. I thought that he had probably dropped something important and was trying to get it back. However, I was quite surprised to discover that what he was trying to recover was merely an empty, disposable coffee cup. The guy was meticulously striving to pick it, experimenting with the twigs of varying lengths. Sometimes he leaned dangerously forward as the cup was far too low on the slope. After around 10 minutes of desperate but unsuccessful efforts, he left the place. I too decided to move on, thinking how foolish he was to have wasted so much time and energy on a petty disposable. A little later, I noticed the same guy again. This time, he was carrying a long bamboo with a sturdy iron wire tied on end. The wire seemed to deliberately bend on the far end to create a kind of hook. There was one more guy with him. Curious again, I followed him to check what he was up to. To my utter surprise, he went to the same spot and again tried to pull the cup. However, the new bait too fell short. I went almost in state of shock when this guy jumped over the boundary. The steep slope and the thought of a mishap made my heart skip a beat. The guy, on the other hand, seemed quite unmindful of the danger. He firmly clasped the hand of the other guy who was accompanying him and dared to step farther down the slope till he finally reached the cup. Cautiously, he entangled the cup through the hook and successfully managed to pull it up. As he held it in his hands, his eyes twinkled with a sparkle. The elation that lit his face was no less than the exhilaration Dhoni had while holding the World Cup trophy. He jumped back with the pride of completing the final leap. The other guy seemed to experiencing an equally fulfilling sense of achievement as they threw the cup in a nearby dustbin and walked away oblivious of the fact that I was observing the act since long. As for me, the inquisitiveness was too much to hold. I followed them with brisk steps and shot my questions point blank. What do you think you guys were up to? What sense does it make to risk one's life for petty cup only to throw it in the dustbin? I understand that as an employee of this place, you get salary to keep it clean. But did you even think what could have happened if there was a slightest error? You guys must be crazy. I just went on and on. Finally, when I was done, the guys replied in subtle tone, "Ma'am, we do not work here. Our eldest brother works here. We are mere visitors, just like you. However, we still belong to this place, and therefore we feel it's our duty to maintain its cleanliness and beauty. We owe everything we have to this environment, our home, our occupation, our health, and our life. The least we can do is not to hurt it back." I was at my wit's end. Such selfless gratitude to the environment was not a very commonly witnessed phenomenon indeed. But what difference would a small cup make? There was just one out there. I almost stammered. "You are right, ma'am. But that one would not have remained alone for a long time. Soon, many more would have followed. It is indeed a tendency of masses to make a place dirtier, though that far-sightedness of clearing the first sight of the pollutant is rare. You could have asked the authorities of the place to take action. I mean, they're paid for it." I argued. "Yes, indeed. But this environment does not give only to those who are paid to maintain it. It gives to everyone alike. In that case, each one of us owes back to it. It is the responsibility of each one of us to make sure that nothing is causing any harm to it." All my questions about the maintenance of the place were automatically answered. Fear of a punishment or fine could never have created such splendid results as the sense of duty and gratitude. When we willingly take responsibility, thinking only in terms of what I can do, the results are exemplary. I am sure the memory of this incident will continue to inspire you lifelong, just as it motivates me to take action. Take care, dear children. You are the ones who make the world of tomorrow. The world will be what you make it. Wish you wisdom.